Stupidity comes in all flavors. I learned that tomorrow. So, yeah, this is just a compilation of a few stories that are, in hindsight, incredibly stupid. So, the first story. It was a lesson, not truly a story. So, tomorrow I learned you're not supposed to take a bath first thing in the morning when it's freezing outside and then sit with two pieces of paper as clothing. That's not what you're supposed to do. Guess what I did? Yes. I woke up, took a freezing bath when it was freezing outside. It was freezing squared. And then sat two pieces of toilet paper as clothing. And it ended up with me being incredibly sick for, one day because this happened yesterday. But for that one day, I had incredible headaches and a whole lot of chucking up. Would not recommend. So, yeah, I would not recommend taking a bath, first thing in the morning when it's freezing outside and when your water is also freezing. It's not a good idea. You will regret it. It's not a good idea. It's just don't do this. You will regret it. It's not good. So, yeah, that's the end of the first story. Now, to the second story. Once upon a time, I knew a person. Yes, it wasn't me. I knew a person who was incredible guy. I tell you, incredible guy. He had the brilliant idea of. Do you remember the protractor? Yeah, this man had the brilliant idea to shove a protractor in the wall socket to find out what the fuck would happen. And as they say, you fuck around and find out. And he found out, man. He found out. So, his brilliant idea was extension, plug, wall. He just put the thing in and then put the extension cord in the wall and then pressed the button. And it blew up. Because, of course, it blew up. Like a whole lot of voltage. And luckily, before, something caught on fire, because this dumbass was trying this on his bed, because, of course, before anything, caught on fire, by God's will, this breaker got tripped. Man, that's the only reason our house didn't burn down that day. That was miracle, I tell you, a true miracle. The bed didn't burn to the ground, let alone the house. Man, it was truly a miracle that something remained afterwards. But now, we move on to another story. The same person, from the previous story, was in the mood of getting a bootleg smartwatch because, of course, he was. And so he found a Facebook profile which supposedly shipped 5,000 buck version, which is again cheaper, much cheaper than the authentic price of a smartwatch, because the smartwatch that would have cost a lot more, because here the conversion rate per buck to dollar is 250 bucks per dollar, which isn't great, but that's how it works, sadly. But yeah, it was not good. So he wanted to buy it for cheap, because so he bought it. 5,000 bucks. What a steal, I tell you. What an absolute steal. But with great price saving comes great scams. And his ass got scammed out of 5,000 bucks. They shipped a literal piece of trash. I'm surprised that they shipped something, but they wouldn't have gotten the money if they didn't ship. That's just how it works. And so they actually shipped something, and it was literally a piece of trash. Thankfully, at the end, we did recover that money, but this dumbass, whom I'm talking about, he got a real earful after that. Now, back to one of my stories. A few months ago, I was trying out making, a flamethrower, you know, as you do. and I was doing it at home. So I took a body spray, an old can that was about to run out, and lit a match and then tested it out. And man, it sounds like something else. You won't ever expect, a flamethrower to sound like what it does. It sounds so weird. Not to not to encourage anyone to build a flamethrower. It's not a good idea because you could burn your house down. Like I almost did. I almost burned my fingers, but it was incredibly warm. Like I was gobstrucken how much heat it pushed. Like it took a few seconds for it to char paint. Like in a few seconds. Thankfully, it didn't burn anything. That's lucky. It didn't burn the house to the ground. That's just a miracle. But that's the good ending of this story. There's another story incredibly similar to this. Man, I have a fascination with fire. Anyways, so this other story starts with me dripping some alcohol on the stove and seeing if it burns. Who would have guessed it did burn? Then I turned off the stove and poured some more alcohol to see if that burns. And lo and behold, it does. Now, my dumbass thought that alcohol isn't that flammable. You could probably dump some more on it. It's gonna do nothing. So, with the stove on, I dump a bottle of alcohol on it, and lo and behold, the entire bottle caught on fire. The fire jumped to my hand, and when I threw the bottle to the side, because of course I did, the fire jumped to one of them paper towels. It jumped to that. Now, I didn't know that my hand was literally on fire at that time. So I was like, "Oh, something stings, something stings, something stings. What the fuck is stinging my hand? Something's wrong." And then I look at my hand and realize it's on fire because there's alcohol on it. So I quickly put it out and then look around because I was shocked and had my eyes closed because, of course, who wouldn't? And look around and see that the paper towel was on fire. Hey, I claim that my quick thinking saved the house that day because the fire was burning that towel quicker than anything else. And I was like, if this thing burns, there's nothing saving the house. I can't save it. So I throw it to the ground, put my foot on it, the part that's burning, rip it off, and then put the rest back. And then, let the part that's burning just burn because we had, tile floors in our kitchen, which I think is a recipe for disaster because you don't want your damn kitchen to be slippery because, of course, you're working with fluids. They are already slippery enough. I don't think you need more slippage. It's not a good thing. But, yeah. These are the stupidest things from my own experience, which I, in hindsight, do think are incredibly stupid. But in that moment, actually, some of them I actually thought were very stupid at that moment. All of these stories are not my personal experience. Like, I didn't participate in this story. The second and third story, that was a person who I know, I'm very close to, who, participated in this story. And it was a lot of work, but he did get his money back. But yeah, it's incredible fun, I guess not fun, but it's incredibly dangerous to be stupid, as my countless experiences of almost burning down the house show. Don't do stupid things. Even if it looks enticing, throwing alcohol on the stove. Even if it looks enticing, don't you dare do it because, man, as I said, I almost burned my house thrice. But god damn it, it was incredible fun, I tell you. Only reason that I think that, my kitchen didn't burn when I created the flamethrower, we had some humid cabinets because that flamethrower was pointing its fire directly towards them, and they weren't getting nothing. They were like, yeah, Yeah, you can't burn us, you little baby. You ain't no got no heat. You're not hot enough to do that. It's like only reason that I can ever imagine that it didn't burn to the ground was it was just wet. Like only reason that it didn't burn to the ground was that it was soaking. But yeah, another story came to me is that even though this, me making flamethrowers, me burning, alcohol, paled in comparison to me lighting grease on fire. Because, of course, thankfully we had, a metal stove thingamabobber, which, didn't burn to the ground. It was great that it was made, out of metal because I was lighting grease on fire on top of it. Stupidity knows no bounds, as they say. It comes in all flavors. So yeah, your local arsonist here. I give my seal of approval on each and every one of these fire-related, incidents. Outside of the electrical incident, I was actively against it. I was like, that's stupid. That's gonna do something stupid. If you do that, you're stupid. Idiot, stop. Stop, you dumbass. And I was like trying to stop the person who, put the damn protractor into it. And it's a miracle that, the bed didn't burn down because that dumbass was literally doing it on the bed. A very flammable bed which could have burned to the ground immediately. It was just a miracle it didn't happen. So yeah, I um have done incredible things, related to fire, making a flamethrower, throwing alcohol on a lit stove, lighting grease on fire. Your average Saturday night as a narcissist. Thank God that it didn't, burn everything to the ground because that would have been incredible because that probably wouldn't have happened because the house that I live in is made out of, brick and mortar. It ain't gonna burn to the ground, but the stuff inside of it would, like the doors, the cabinets, all of that stuff, that would have burned. And it's a miracle that it didn't. It's really a miracle. And I don't think I would stop doing these stupid things anytime soon because, of course. But yeah, it's incredible to fuck around and find out. It's the best of feelings, I tell you. It's like you being on cloud nine. There's nothing better than that. I tell you. Ain't no nothing better than being lit on fire by your own stupidity. Like, I shit you not. I had alcohol burning on my hand and I have still marks. There are marks because of it, which have, well, mostly faded because, you really do realize when your hand is on fire, you really quickly realize that. Like, my hand, I don't think my hand itself was burning. I hope. But the the alcohol, that was burning. I distinctly remember that burning.
I also cut my hand twice, once with a butter knife and once with an incredibly sharp knife.
I have done incredible stupid things. The person that I've talked about has done less incredibly stupid things, but maybe if he does some more, I will maybe make a part two if there are, more stupid stories to tell about because this is about all that I remember currently. So yeah, if I have any more stories, I will tell you. But otherwise, this is, the only video that will be made on this topic. And that's about it from me. And bye.